What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the Minority Males of Medicine podcast powered by Mission to Medicine. I'm your boy, Akeem Henry.
And it's Cameron here. So excited to have you all back. Glad you're listening. So we have another good one for you.
We have another good one for y'all. Today's podcast is sponsored by Mission to Medicine, a lifestyle brand that represents high achievers who are pursuing and actively living out their dreams of being healthcare professionals. Check out the latest merchandise online at www.missiontomedicine.com. Use discount code MissionToMedicine10 to save 10% off your purchase. This right here is a touchy topic, I think. It's like, no, I won't say that. But a lot of people dread this class. And today we want to give you all some tips how to succeed and how to get an A in organic chemistry. Because Cameron and I both got A's in organic chemistry when we took it in college. And we know that this is a very challenging course that is considered a weed out class. And with this, people get a little nervous. And I think it's something that you shouldn't really be nervous about as long as you follow these steps that we're going to provide you all here today.
Yeah, like you said, when people see they have to take organic chemistry, they see it on their schedule, get a little shaky, get a little nervous, and they already start to doubt themselves. But it doesn't have to be like that at all. Like you see two people sitting right here, both of us got an A in organic chemistry, so we're going to show you all how to do it as well. So in this video, we're sharing 4 steps that are going to help you be successful in organic chemistry. So let's go ahead and hop into it. So the very first tip, which is crucial. Don't fall. I was going to say do not. Don't fall behind.
Yeah, don't fall
Don't
behind.
fall behind. That's so key, right? Because that stuff, that material, when you fall behind, it's like a snowball. It is going to just keep going and going and going. And it's going to be so big. The exam's going to be, it's going to be the weekend for the exam. You'll be like, how am I going to study all this material and really be confident in this material for the exam? So one of the ways I think you could really do that is by aiming to review all your lecture notes, all your material before the next lecture, right? Because, you're going to have one lecture and you're going to learn all these different mechanisms. And you have to draw them out and everything. And the professor is going to be 50 minutes, like going hard, like on the board, just nonstop going. I remember like when the professor was done, I was like, oh my gosh, the time needs to come because I don't know how much more I can take.
Right now, all those mechanisms and reactions, I'm like, bro, what's going on?
I was like, I don't think I can take any more. Like I was checking my watch, like, come on, please. The time comes soon that we're done with this class. This session's over. But it's going to be a lot of material. So you want to make sure before the next class, so if you have for us, it was either like Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or Tuesday, Thursday. Before that next class, you want to be able to have some time to review that material. Right. So that way you don't get to the next lecture and like, shoot, like this is piled on and I haven't even reviewed the next stuff.
Definitely. So. And I feel like the reason why organic chemistry is considered really challenging is because the amount of volume, the amount of information. And it kind of translates to medical school because, in medical school, you're supposed to be prepared to handle like this waterfall or fire hydrant worth of information. And so that's what organic chemistry is like, just a lot of info. So it's like being organized and coming up with a system that works for you to keep on top of the information. So don't fall behind.
Yeah, absolutely. And kind of like going off that, like my system was after every lecture or the day after the lecture, but definitely before the next lecture, rewriting my notes. I was big on that. That's what worked for me. You have to find what works for you. But I would rewrite all of my lecture notes. For each organic chemistry class, even every chemistry class, I would have two notebooks. Yeah. One notebook is the one I would take in lecture. The other notebook, it was what I would rewrite all my notes in right after the lecture. And that's what worked for me.
The material, especially all those reactions and synthesis. Yeah, oh God.
Right. Bringing back memories now.
Yeah, horror stories. It's like, no.
Right. And like, so basically another like kind of way I would approach this is every weekend I would kind of study as if like I was going to be tested on that material that upcoming week. So I was kind of prepared and like, go hard on the weekends, obviously, make time to enjoy yourself as well, but definitely go hard and make sure you're prepared. So when that next week comes, it's a new week of information, you're ready to go and you already have that past information down ready.
A whiteboard and markers are going to be your best friend, or blank paper and pencil, but just, constantly quiz yourself and just work through those reactions. I think that would be good.
Yeah, I definitely, I killed a lot of trees on my white paper. So
a lot of trees. Be sustainable, people. Use a whiteboard and markers. Don't listen to camera. Say no. All right. So the next tip that we want to hammer home here is to find people to study with. Reach out for help if necessary. For me, particularly, I remember organic chemistry at first was a struggle. And I was in lecture And I remember we had our first organic chemistry exam, and I saw the average, and I saw where I was at, and I wasn't too happy. But I also saw the high, and this guy that was sitting in front of me, I saw the high of the, the breakdown of the grades, and I would glance down, and I looked at his paper. You know how you can just look over somebody's paper and see what's going on. I saw his exam when he got his exam back. He was pretty happy, and I looked over, and he had the high. So you know what? And this guy, he was always like on top of his stuff. When I tell you, like in lecture, this man would just like, he knows the answer. He's always raising his hand. He always knew the answer that when the professor asked a question about the mechanism or the synthesis. Like, this guy just knows his stuff. He has to be like brilliant or something, you know? Like, this is organic chemistry. Like, who just gets it? He did. So his name was Jake. I don't usually tell you people's name, but this is such a good compliment. Like, if Jake ever hears this story, like, Jake, shout out to you. I hope you remember me, but man, you saved my life. So basically what happened was I reached out to Jake after I saw that he had the high, and I was like, bro, like, I'm struggling in this class. I'm not doing well in this class, and I really need to study with someone who knows what they're doing to just help me, so I can just see like how do you process information and just how you go through it. And he was receptive to my like reluctance. Like I wasn't even sure if he like would say yes, but he did. And mind you, I never met this kid before. I never knew him, and I just reached out to him after a lecture. And he said, yeah, let's go and study. And so we booked a room inside the library. And this man started writing out his own reactions. He started making up his own reactions, his own mechanisms. He started predicting what the professor would be putting on the exam. He started just like coming up with all this stuff out his. I was just like, bro, what is going on? And when I tell you, like, he was like almost like spot on with what the professor would put on the next exam. Like, he knew what he was talking about. And I was just so happy that I reached out and took this necessary steps to like build that connection with him. And he took me under the wing. And I also just started bringing all my other friends in. I was like, we got to study with Jake, man. Like, we just started studying with Jake, and we just like hit it off from there. And he was such a great down to earth guy. And sometimes it just takes reaching out and getting out of your comfort zone to just really connect with people who are in a better space than you, who could help you get to where they are. And it's okay to do that. It's not being a user or, you know, worrying about your pride or anything like that. You just have to worry about the end goal. The end goal is to succeed and pass and get good grades in these classes that are so, you know, considered weed out courses.
Yeah, so for sure. So the moral of the story I take from that is if you're struggling to, you know, figure it out in a class, find your Jake, right? Like find your person who like they know what's going on. Like see if they're willing to just share some information with you, right? Like I've had experiences where not so much in organic chemistry for me, but in other classes where I was like, okay, I need to find somebody because I need to stay on top of this somehow. Find somebody I can study with, and I found my Jake, you know, quote. But like you know, in other classes, so definitely find that person that can help you out through the class for sure. So that brings us to point number 3, right? Point number 3 that we have is office hours. I cannot stress that enough, how valuable office hours are, especially when you're at a really big university like how we went to. For those of you that don't know, maybe you're freshmen or still kind of younger in the process trying to understand how to do well in the class. Office hours is basically where the professor or the TA just has a dedicated block of time where they're just in their office and students come in and just ask questions. You can ask questions about, you know, how can I do well in this test? You know, I have specific questions I'm coming up while studying with, as well as just like sometimes they'll just offer study sessions. So they'll just be in there just writing stuff up on the board and, you know, people just asking questions as you go along. And you can really learn from that. So I found office hours to be really, really valuable.
For sure. I remember that's where I was, when I was most stumped on questions or a mechanism, I went straight to office hours. I said, Professor, I'm just not getting it. Like, I'd be so dramatic about it. I'm like, I'm just not getting it. And then she would just work with me, and we would get like they had like the 3D molecules in the room, like with the stereochemistry and the R versus S and the flipping this and turning that. And like she would just show me all the molecules, and I get to hold it and try to like, you know, see it in the physical space, and that helped out a lot. And then she also get to put a name with the face. And then if I ever needed to ask her for a letter of recommendation, we talked about this in our previous video that, you know, go to office hours to do that. And so I was just going there to get help. And then down the line, when it came to applying to programs and opportunities that came about, I could reach back to those professors that I was going to office hours for organic chemistry.
Yeah. And for me, like when I was earlier on like as a freshman, most of the time I would go to office hours just like hoping like, okay, like hopefully I'll just learn something with no plan of like what I was going to ask or anything, which was like good, but it was also like kind of passive as well. Like I was going in there like, okay, maybe another student will like ask a question. Sometimes we just be sitting there quiet because like everyone's in there like hoping someone's going to like say something or the teacher's just going to spontaneously start talking about something.
I'm not doing that.
Right.
I couldn't
you can't
just
do
sit
that.
there and just be looking at the professor just like, all right, we just looking at each other. Like,
Yeah.
no, it's time to go.
Yeah. You have to go in. If you really want to get value out of it, like
Come up with questions.
come up with questions beforehand. Like if while you're studying and something's just not making sense to you, like Akeem was talking about, write it down. I would have like a piece of paper in the corner of my notes, like write down questions I had for office hours, specific things I wanted to get answered. So it was like you'll get those things answered, which is always going to be helpful. And then if other people have questions too, you'll learn from that. But at least you know the questions that you specifically have, you're going to get answered and you're going to learn from that. And another thing, which I kind of just thought of just now actually, is like, if you do poorly on an exam, take that exam to office hours and say, okay, what did I do wrong? Like, how can I learn from this? And they're really very receptive to like helping you learn so you can do better on the next exam.
Exactly. I've done that plenty of times, and actually to dispute some questions like, you better give me some points back. I'm sorry. Like, no, this question was bad. Like, you better help me give me some points back. So sometimes you got to go and fight for your points, y'all. Like, don't let these professors get over it, y'all. But yeah, definitely go there with your questions that you have to, you have concerns about, and then review them, go through those exams, because then that can help you prepare for the next exam, because it builds, like organic chemistry builds on top of everything. So it's definitely vital to do that. And like leading off of the questions, like the last tip that I really want to hammer home here is that it's actually okay to make up your own questions and to predict what the professor is going to put on, like Jake did, so, you want to start being a step ahead. Like you start thinking on your feet, like, all right, this professor likes these type of reactions. Like where is he going to go with this? Or where is she going to go with this the next time, Like just see where they're going, see their mind, and see what they enjoy. Like some professors have patterns and you have to follow those patterns. And if they have old exams, you definitely want to tap into those old exams and see what type of questions they normally ask, because usually it's going to be the same for the next exams or their future exams.
Yeah.
And then, that's like going into the banks, going into the archives, if they have that at your school,
or even online as well.
Online to find practice questions.
Yeah.
So you don't always have to make your own questions, but just find good questions that you can just continue to get practice from. Practice, practice, practice. It makes perfect. It's cliche, but it works.
At the end of the day, you're going to get exposed whether you know the material or not when you start doing practice questions. And that's good for you because you want to see what your weaknesses are, right? So if you look up, there's tons if you just look organic chemistry practice questions, or like there's certain mechanisms you want to learn or remember how to do, and you want to do practice questions on those, just Google it and you'll find so many resources online. And that's going to expose like what you know and what you don't know. And you do this before the exam, so you find out what you don't know, and then you hit that, and you just keep doing practice questions until it's like, okay, that's I got that. That's in the bank, right? Like you got it, and it's like, okay, like what's my next weakness, right?
We cooking now.
And hammer those weaknesses and just do practice questions for sure.
Yes.
I hope you liked this video. If you have any other tips or resources that helped you be successful in organic chemistry, make sure to comment down below so that other people can hear that as well, and everyone can ace organic.
Definitely. I hope you guys found this video content valuable. Please smash that like button, hit the subscribe button, comment down below, share it with some friends, and don't forget to sign up for our newsletter that you all can sign up to submit your email to stay in contact with new information, exclusive deals, and things that we might have down the line.
Also, you can follow us on Instagram at minoritymalesmed so that you can know what videos are upcoming.
Yes, sir. Peace. Today's podcast is sponsored by Mission to Medicine, a lifestyle brand that represents high achievers who are pursuing and actively living out their dreams of being healthcare professionals. Check out the latest merchandise online at www.missiontomedicine.com. Use discount code MissionToMedicine10 to save 10% off your purchase.